Hey, Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV begins right now. There in that corner is Ira Chaffel. There in the other corner is Corey Clark. I'm Jeff. Thanks for being with us as always. And as we get started, let's make sure to thank our friends at Register Sausage. Yay, sausage! Hello, boys.
How's it going, man? It felt like, man, for some reason I felt like the holiday weekend, Father's Day. It felt like a perfect, it almost felt like Register Sausage kind of owned the weekend. Like it was their weekend.
Yeah.
And it should have been your weekend for most of you as well. And you can have it that way if you order Register Sausage from registermeats.com. That's the website. We don't have a promo code right now. Maybe we will for preseason camp. I bet you Ben will come through with something big for a preseason camp.
Yeah, probably before then, Ira. We'll say something witty and intelligent, and he'll jump on board really quickly and realize that's a chance to sell more sausage on the backs of the Seminole Headlines gang.
Right.
And, it's at that point that we'll earn our bacon, if you will, or sausage in this case.
It's beautiful. We can't do any better than that. Go to your local grocery store and get your register sausage or order it online from registermeats.com.
Who's excited about what today, guys? We're in the middle of it. We got to survive June. This is a Corey Clark special here where he laments just how far away football is. Now, last night, Ira and I were celebrating the proximity of college football because I think you can really elevate the fact that we're 65 days away from the start of college football. What is it, 75, 76 for Florida State?
Yeah, who plays 65 days from now?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, you do. You'll be like, oh man, I'm excited, but it's Sam Houston State versus Northwestern, and you're like, okay, it's the second quarter. I'm not watching this anymore.
Oh no, I'll watch it. I'm a bit of a sports junkie. I really like football, Corey. I can't help it that you hate it. I love the game, and I celebrate the return of it.
I'm more excited. What's the first real game? Is it Florida Utah? So we're probably 72 days from like a real football game.
While Jeff's pulling that up, I think we should explain that we're recording this a couple hours before airtime. Because I'm leaving town, guys. I've got a exciting day ahead of me. Part of my Father's Day gift from the family was going to see the Orioles down in Tampa. So I'm going down with taking Alexa. We're going to meet Molly down there. We're going to go to the Orioles Rays games tonight and on Wednesday. So again, this is not live, guys. It's recorded just a couple hours earlier so I could get on the road and enjoy my Father's Day present and hopefully a big Orioles victory.
Why are you making that? Is some news coming, you think, and we're not going to be ready for it? Is that what I know we got a bunch of 5 stars on campus. I'm
just trying to be honest, trying to be honest with the viewers who right now are in the chat thinking we're live and we're not responding to them.
Oh,
and,
okay.
We're doing the right thing.
Yeah, well, it's 66 days till we start college football, but I can't seem to get the first game pulled up. I'll pull up the other stuff in just a second. I'm proud of you going down there for a little baseball. You think the Orioles are going to etch ever closer and get yourself closer to first place, or do you fall further behind?
I hope so, buddy. I hope so. That would be really good if we were fully healthy. Cedric Mullins, our center fielder, hasn't been available lately, and that's going to hurt the offense a little bit. But it would be nice, man. I like the pitching matchups. These 2 games, I don't think we're probably not going to see the Rays' best, and there might be seeing some of our best. So hopefully it works out well.
As much as I love you, both of you can go to hell as you watch baseball teams that are soaring above 500, and the Pirates have lost 10 straight. So
aren't you guys still leading your division though, or something?
Not anymore. No, you can't lose 10 straight and lead your division.
Not even that division.
No, not even that division. Yeah, Pirates are an interesting team. One year they won like 13 in a row, won 98 games, still couldn't win the division because 2 other teams won 100+ games. Yeah, sure, that happens. And then this year, they're terrible, which is nice. Well, they're not a good team anyhow, and they did lead it all the way through my birthday and beyond. That's all I could ask for. Everything else would be gravy at that point, but I think they've fallen off a cliff now. So I'm checking out of baseball. You guys can go to hell with your 2 teams.
That's why you're so excited about what UTEP and Sam Houston State 66 days from now. Because you don't have baseball to keep you occupied.
Actually, what we were talking about last night, Corey, was that once camp starts, it all begins because because of the season being so anticipated and how excited we are, and like the expectations that Florida State could be a college football playoff team and win the conference for the first time in a long time, like that's really when it begins. So in truth, when's the opening to camp? We should just count that down.
When is that, Ira? Do we know yet? It's probably a month before the first game. So
yeah, it should be. 3rd? It'll be one. Yeah, it'll be the beginning of August. the season opener September 3rd. So yeah, it'll be the very beginning of August, possibly the last couple of days of July, but probably the beginning of August.
Yeah, that's not good. I have this is a conundrum. So
here we go. Where's Corey got to be? So he can't be a preseason.
So the Braves, I have Braves season tickets. Not every game, but I went in with some buddies up here in Atlanta, so we got tickets, and we have tickets. The Angels come to town. Shohei and Mike Trout. Brady's never seen either one of them play. I've never seen Mike Trout play.
Brady can go.
It's a kind of a big deal. I haven't seen him either. But the point, it wasn't even because we don't know when spring practice or fall practice will start. But the tickets I have are a Wednesday afternoon, August 2nd, which happens to be the first day of school in Atlanta.
Oof.
Would it be?
He could miss the first day of school.
That's what I was wondering. Is that bad parenting or is that good parenting to say, buddy, you're missing the first day of school in high school, sophomore year, to go to a baseball game?
It's the right thing to do.
It is for sure, but I think the convincing you're going to have to do is with Shanna, not with Ira and Jeff.
Look, man, I don't know what you think the dynamic is up here, but I call the shots. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, you have more chance of talking me out of it than she does.
So, by the way, for our listeners who don't understand, they do understand, but who don't maybe realize the magnitude of what you'd be missing if you did not take your son to the game or yourself.
And what if he's pitching? Like if Shohei's pitching, it's a no. I mean, I got to take him.
It's the dumbest stat in the world. I saw it yesterday. These are the Angel team leaders. Runs, Ohtani. Hits, Ohtani. Home runs, Ohtani. Walks, Ohtani. RBIs, Ohtani. Stolen bases, Ohtani. Batting average, Ohtani. On-base percentage, Ohtani. Slugging percentage, Ohtani. OPS, Ohtani. Wins, Ohtani. ERA, Ohtani. Strikeouts, Ohtani.
They need to use him as a closer, too, so he can be the saves leader.
You'll never see that again. You'll never see that again. Like he is a unicorn. It's insane.
Crazy. It's great. You could make an argument he's the most talented baseball player that's ever lived. When you consider the
argument, sure, yeah,
the competition he's going up against. But so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I'll get to see him, and Brady will get to see him play. It's incredible what he's doing. But going back to the football spring practice, I don't know why I keep saying the preseason practice. It's also cool, and I always want to remind people of this. What makes it so why you would get so excited about it starting is we do get to watch it. So we'll know what we're talking about. It's not like, oh, man, we're excited. August 2nd's coming around.
Third-hand information.
Yeah, we'll get to hear from Jimbo 3 hours after the practice to tell us that they all look great. Like, we actually will get to see these people play and see who's winning jobs, who's losing jobs, who's playing really well. That's what makes it so exciting for me.
It's going to be great for you, Corey, to read about it when you're up at the Braves game. You'll be reading all about it. Watch Jeff and I do a stand-up. Maybe listen to Aslan on Wake Up Warchant.
Right. Look, Ira. I don't want you. I don't want you to judge me or my. I get it, but it's Shohei. You understand what I'm saying, Ira? It's Shohei.
Corey, your retort, and it's a perfect time to highlight the dominance that is Warchant.com and the Warchant Network.
We got a deep bench.
This is why we have such a staff. I mean, this is the massive, insightful, energetic, talented staff that is Warchant.com's group of reporters and talk show hosts. I mean, Jesus.
It's almost like, honestly, Jeff, the more I think about what Ira's saying here, it's an insult not just to you, but to Gene. Like, he doesn't think Gene's put together a strong enough staff that it could withstand my absence for a day.
I'm just saying, it's like our Ohtani's not here, is all I'm saying. You know?
That's true. Yeah, I'm taking a day off. I got you. I'm on maternity leave or something. I got you. That's a good – yeah, I am an Ohtani at Warchant.
Yeah, I think, Ira, you should give yourself so much more credit. I look at you as the Ohtani.
Oh, nice.
I look at Gene as maybe a bench coach who has some pull with management.
I'm the Hideki Arabu. I used to be that fat toad anyway.
That pussy toad. Yeah, that pussy toad. Is,
I want maybe if we found Arabu today, he's like walking around slender, a cool 160.
Yeah, just working out, Orange Theory all the time.
The funny thing to think about is if I asked you, what do you think Hideki Arabu looks like now?
You would not assume he's 160 pounds.
No, I don't think any of us would. I think we would wonder, is he dead?
Yeah.
And
is
then
he a sumo
secondly,
wrestler?
Yeah. And then if he is alive, I don't think he's keeping it together because he was given so much money to do not a lot. So yeah. I miss the days when owners would just call their players fat pussy toes.
Well, those were the days.
But yeah, Corey. So last time was 76 days. We went with
Told you.
Hideki.
It's been over a decade.
Oh,
wow.
Hideki Arabu's been dead for a long time. Guys, we saw this coming. Like when you said Hideki Arabu, I was like, I kind of think he's dead.
That's my fault, Hideki, man. I know you're watching somewhere, and I apologize for that.
To all of his family and friends that are watching.
Yeah. I'll take it a step further, and this is wildly irresponsible. My guess is Hideki Arabu died doing cocaine off a hooker's ass. I mean, that's just the sense that I get about how his demise.
I can't wait to see what pops up on the bottom line. Died saving 3 kids from a burning building.
Oh, no. I'll apologize. We can always circle back. That's the beauty of the pre-record.
What were you saying, Ira, before Hideki Arabu's news popped
So I was trying to steer us away from that and back to Florida State football. So last time when he said 76 days, I said Rick Leonard. That was my 76. Who's our 75?
Cam Irving?
Cam Irving is, that's the right answer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Unless there's guys from the pre-Ira era, from you guys remember from back in the day. I mean, it's obviously we kind of lean on the guys from recent years.
No, I think Cam Irving's a good one. He's got to be the best that's worn 75, right?
I'm terrible with numbers, Corey. I mean, are you sure you're not overlooking like a 2-time All-American from the 80s or early 90s?
We'll find out after the show. Like last week when people told us Willie Halstead was 82.
I still think DJ Norris
is better than Willie Halstead.
DJ Norris is a pull instead of Willie Halstead.
All right.
Well, I think Willie Halstead was a better answer.
Much better.
It reminded me of how bad I felt for Willie Halstead getting concussed by his own guy and really never being the same.
Never really getting on the field much after that. He missed the whole year.
He was going to be a really good player, I think. That was unfortunate. But it also was an indicator of the kind of guys you were bringing in.
Yeah.
Because we had some dudes in practice that would
not pussyfooting around out there, were they? They
were not pussyfooting around. There was no half-stepping anymore. No. We were bringing in guys that were violent. It reminds me of the Ramsey-Williams exchange. And how, like, these are the kinds of things that are happening when you bring in elite talent. So maybe while we're watching fall practice get underway, we see the kind of violence that is usually commensurate with elite athleticism on both sides of the ball. That'd be beautiful.
Does this team have enough nastiness? Like, do we need to see? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's there. I don't know. That's one thing. And
who would it be? And when you think nasty, let's just keep it to the defense for now. That I don't know that they have a who
Jared
does
Verse
though?
Is the answer.
Yeah. But a Jalen or a LaMarcus are the two guys that I always think of when I think
somebody in the back. Yeah, somebody in the back end.
Or Telvin for that matter. Just dogs, man. Do they have those guys other than Jared Verse that we know of?
Jernigan is that way too. Actually, that's a question we should ponder for a second. We'll do it next on Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
If you've been considering getting a new hot tub or upgrading your existing hot tub, now's the absolute best time to do it. Hot Spring Spas has the jets on full blast, and the prices right now have never been hotter. You can find huge savings at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, and we mean huge. For a limited time, you can get up to $5,000 off in instant discounts and rebates, plus 60 months, no interest financing for qualified buyers. You're dead right. $5,000 in discounts. And that's not all. When you buy a hot spring spa from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, you'll get a free consultation to determine the best placement in your yard for installation, a free accessory of your choice, and install can be completed in just a matter of days. It's the most aggressive rebate program that's ever been available to buyers from Hot Spring Spas. So stop by Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road today to check out their 12,000 square foot showroom with over 50 hot tubs on site. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Hey, folks, it's me, Mac and More, spokesperson for Tallahassee's favorite Apple and Mac product store, Mac and More. We all know what Mac is all about. It's your MacBooks, iMacs, Apple Watch, iPhones, iPads. We've all got them. But what's really cool is the and more. And there's a lot more at Mac and More. They can help set up your new gear, migrate and back up your data, teach you new tricks, and how to use everything better. And if something costs too much to fix, they'll tell you the truth. There's a lot more at Mac and More. See for yourself at macandmoresystems.com. Or you can take it from me, Mr. Mac and More.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at baranoac.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hey, this is Dr. Ryan Finn at Finn Chiropractic. If you have a pain in the neck, bring them to Finn Chiropractic because neck pain, low back pain, headaches, numbness, and tingling can make your significant other or family member very irritable.
This is Dr. Shannon Lord. We developed the Phenomenal Health Exam to get to the cause of your problem. You can schedule your appointment at finnchiro.com. FENNCHIRO.com.
Whether the pain is in your neck or someone else's, come to Finn Chiropractic.
Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Jimmy Fasig at Fasig Brooks. We hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Much as defense, you want to have a mean streak. And maybe on the offensive line, you want to have a mean streak. Brian Stork was mean.
The play that Jeff alluded to earlier, the clash between Jalen Ramsey and Carlos Williams. For people that don't remember,
yeah,
it was an open practice, so it got out there. It was out there. It was in the stadium. But Jalen Ramsey kind of blew up Carlos Williams and to the
multiple times.
Well, and Jimbo got so mad at him, it was like, "Stop doing it. We're not this. This isn't the place for that." And then Jalen went and did it again, and basically was going to start a brawl. And Jimbo kicked Jalen Ramsey out of practice because he was so mad about it. Not just out of practice, but out of an open practice.
Yeah,
where there's fans and everybody else watching. He kicked him, told him to take his stuff back to Tennessee.
He said he suspended him until further notice is what he yelled. And that lasted about 35 minutes.
I was going to say that lasted to the end of practice.
Yes.
But that's the intent. And we're not saying that the Florida State football does not have that intensity or they don't have tough guys. It's just that group had it in spades. And I agree with Jeff, Corey, like that Georgia team, man, like when they played Alabama, they looked like Kirby got them into a frenzy.
Yeah,
yeah. No, dude,
all that leaked audio. The Kirby gets you into a frenzy in the locker room.
Well, but what I think what happens is it's the direct byproduct of intense competition that leads to the kind of nastiness in individuals who win those jobs. Like having to go through hell to win a job, like that one LSU defense, that Georgia defense recently picked one of the two. That Florida State team, you're right about recruiting. You have 5-star kids or NFL bound kids, who now are fiercely competitive on a daily basis to win a job, that's going to bring out the nastiness in everybody, because it's that edge that will carry the day if you're both equally as talented, the willingness to sacrifice and kind of lay it all on the line all the time in order to be the guy.
Yeah.
And Florida State's not quite there yet on defense. They have
Correct.
not stacked together back-to-back elite classes the way that Georgia team did, the way that Jimbo did at Florida State, the way that Alabama has for the better part of 15 years. I mean, like, that's the next step for Florida State, though, is what we're describing.
Yeah, because you don't have the luxury. Norvell doesn't necessarily, and Fuller don't have the luxury of benching, like, let's say, Renardo Green, because they don't think he's physical enough. Like, Kirby will sell a 5-star that's been starting there for a year. If you keep playing like this, you're not starting anymore, and he replaces them with somebody that's going to be an NFL player too at some point. That's really good. And I don't think they're quite there on that side of the ball, right, Ira? I mean, but I do think they're there on the offensive line, but I don't think they're there on that side of the ball on defense.
And I do think they're. And you mentioned
but
the
who
quarterback.
is?
Well, and look, man, they've got some on offense. They've got a couple guys. I think that we've seen signs of it. I like, Trey Benson, some of his runs, we started to see some of that physicality. And I thought Johnny Wilson's catch against Oklahoma, the catch was great.
Yeah, the bitchy.
When he just disrespects that dude and just throws. I mean, he ended up not scoring, but man, he just. Yeah, I mean, it was. That's what you want to see. Like, you want to see that, because that's what we saw. I mean, that's what kind of. KB was a freak athletically, but when he started doing that in that Florida game, that's a different level, and it just permeates your whole team. Jared Verse, he's the guy I think that kind of can kickstart it, but you need to see more of it, I think, across his defense for them to become better than just a good defense.
Well, think about it. They had it. They had it in Jack's grandson. They had it in.
Right.
They had a lot of guys all over the field that had a whole bunch of what for. As I was describing that team going into that season, there was a lot of nastiness. There should be a nasty offensive lineman on this team. Lord knows he got 12 fighting for 5. Yeah. This ought to be a hell of a contest. We can't figure out who the starting lineup's going to be, and all of us can have a different 5, and nobody would really argue with it because, good God, they have a lot of choices. Alex Atkins has an edge to him. I'd like to think that somebody's going to emerge out of that group and be pretty nasty. Corey, I know you like to recall that Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers team recently and how Ryan Jensen led the way on the offensive line.
RJ was the anchor to the whole thing.
Well, you think about Jensen and how nasty he was. He'd get a 15-yard penalty once a game. I'm not even kidding. Like, he was on the edge all the time. Florida State should have a guy like that.
He was, Dylan Gibbons had that role last year, the last couple of years.
Right.
And, and he played that role. He embraced that role. It'll be interesting to see who has it this year. And that was one of the things, of all the things Dylan Gibbons brought Florida State football, that was the thing, if you talk to people inside the program, that they appreciated the most, was that before he got here, they didn't have any edge on that offensive line. And he brought it, and a lot of guys followed it, but now he's gone. And again, they brought in some really talented guys, but, does Casey Roddick have that? Does Jeremiah Byers have that? Does Keandre Jones have that? Or have those other guys that got to play with Dylan Gibbons, do they kind of impart it because of their exposure to him? So
who has it?
That's something to look for.
You know who has it, but I don't know that he's going to start, and I don't think the three of us think he's going to start unless he takes a big step forward, and there's a chance he could. Julian Armella. Armella has it.
He's definitely does. Yeah.
I hope Armella went into the offseason pissed off, because I'm quite certain a year ago, Armella assumed that he would be a starter by now, that he would be a guy who has a chance to start. And we don't really think he's going to start. We don't think he's ready to start. He certainly hadn't moved into the starting lineup in spring. So he's going to have to kick somebody out of a job.
Yeah.
And he does have a nastiness to him. He's really athletic. He's got good feet. He can move. If he puts on 10 pounds and is a bitch come the fall, meaning angry all the time, who knows? He could be that guy.
One other guy that I was impressed by, it was just one play, and I think Corey wrote about it at the time. That situation with Jaheim Bell and Jared Verse, I thought was a good sign. Jaheim, because the way that all started was Jaheim had punked Byron Turner in that drill, the play earlier, and was talking about it. Like, Jaheim was fired up about it. And then Jared Verse was like, basically, you won't do that to me, and like told Byron Turner to get out of the way. And then he got down. And then Jaheim kind of did it to Jared Verse.
Verse said he slipped, right? He said something
Yeah.
like he slipped or he lost his footing or something. Yeah.
But what was cool about to me was when Jaheim did it to Byron and then was talking about it, and Verse walks over kind of like the big brother, and he's like, basically like, oh no, let's do it to me.
Yeah.
And he gets down, and like Jaheim Bell didn't even flinch, like didn't even acknowledge, like he just kind of got down and was like, let's go. Yeah, man, like that's the kind of stuff, to your point, Jeff, earlier, that it's got to come from practice in that competition. And now that we're seeing a better overall roster, maybe that's what we're going to see more of this preseason.
Well, and also, like, Atkins isn't going to play a lot. He has the luxury, maybe not to the extent of Kirby, where he's rotating in first-round picks at multiple positions, but he does have the luxury of man. If you're playing soft, if you're getting beat, if you're not playing well, you're coming out of the game. We don't have to ride with you. We've got at least 3 guys on this team that have started over 30 games in their college careers that are standing with me on the sideline. So if you don't play well, you're coming out of the game. And that's a good luxury to have, because that's something they haven't had. Man, I don't know they've ever had it since I've been covering this team. They've had they are literally going to have 8 guys on this offensive line with over like 30 starts in their career. It's crazy. When I'm writing these top 25, the top 40 capsules, I'm like, well, this guy, I don't even know if he's going to play. Darius Washington, I don't know how much he's going to play. Well, he's got 23 college starts. He's played 36 games. It's like,
it was
what?
the best part about being able to do the list is that Ira and I were talking about this last night on the Smash. Like, we had guys where you're like, well, I think I should put him on the list because he could start, but he's probably not going to start. But he's a damn good football player.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do I do with him? And, I guess I got to put him somewhere in the 20s or 30s, and then somebody else who's got the starter ahead of him, or somebody that they think will start ahead of him is going to have the other guy wait. I mean, it's just – that is the best position Florida State's been in terms of talented depth on the offensive line. I've now covered the team for 25 years. They've never had it. They've never had this. They've never had this. Not in 98, not in 99, not in 2013, not in 2014. They've never had this.
I'm not sure if you go into the history of college football, and, I'm one to be hyperbolic and exaggerate. I don't know if there's ever been a college football offensive line quite like this. Again, I'm being serious.
Because this is a unique situation because you got these COVID kids too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got Dimitri Emanuel.
Seventh-year guys.
You've got a 7th-year guy. You've got Casey Roddick, who started over 30 games, who might not play. Maurice Smith has started over 30. Like, you literally have 8 or 9 guys that have started the equivalent of 2 full seasons. I don't know a college football team's ever had this before. It's Keandre Jones. We don't even mention.
You may have fallen into being right with your hyperbolic statement. This could have happened just like by chance. You're right. Maybe it never has happened because we didn't have a pandemic at any point that we were covering college football.
Or a portal. We also didn't have a portal like this where guys would transfer willy-nilly like they do now, where you get a guy like Keandre Jones, who we don't even think is in – I mean, I know he is, but we don't even talk about him a lot. I don't think he made our top 40. And he started essentially 2 full seasons at Auburn.
Well, the thing, and I think the challenge to talk about that position and the defensive line to some degree also is that the depth is what makes it so strong. Like the depth of the offensive line is incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know that we think any of the 5 might be better than maybe the 13 offensive line or some other offensive line. So,
but that line was so lucky to stay healthy the whole year.
I agree 100%. But I guess what I'm saying is it sounds like we're talking about they've got 8, 9 superstars. They've got 8 solid, 8 or 9 really good, experienced college offensive linemen.
Corey, to answer your question, Keandre Jones came in 41st.
Oof.
Yeah.
Keandre.
Yeah, so 41st. He was right there on the outskirts, but we wouldn't be surprised if he played a lot this year for Florida State. It's not like he's talentless, so that's certainly a good sign. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and a guy like that, 2 years ago, I mean, like he would have been. Yeah.
We'd have been doing cartwheels.
We got Keandre Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Now go call Seminole Glass. Now get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Here's a question, since we're talking about players that may emerge as being a guy with an edge or somebody that takes a huge step and inserts themselves in the starting lineup that's not there already. Who's a player? Who's your favorite player on either side of the ball? Who's the guy that you think that after this year we'll be talking about forevermore besides Jordan Travis? Because that's an easy answer.
So somebody that hasn't done it yet?
Well, I guess somebody who's good. Obviously, you're not going to pick a guy that's not a starter that you think, that's going to emerge. Like, I think, obviously, Trey Benson could end up running for like 1,800 yards this year. If they ride him and they really want to run the ball, he's a nasty runner. He runs over people. He runs away from people. If he's fully comfortable that he is at 100%, like we saw in the second half of the season, that dude could end up having a special season on a team that wins 11 games, takes back the ACC title, and we'll always look back at him as, one of those types of players. Could be tight end, could be whomever. That's why I'm asking you guys, who do you think that player – could it be Keon Coleman?
I mean, look, man, yes. All those answers, yeah. I was trying to think somebody that's kind of off the radar a little bit. I mean, I could say Jordan Travis. If you're going to pick Trey Benson,
I
say Jordan Travis or Johnny Wilson.
Anybody but Jordan Travis. So
he said you can't say Jordan Travis, and I'm going to take Trey Benson.
I'm taking Trey Benson.
No, because listen, I'm not talking about having a good year. That's a given. I'm talking about fans falling in love with a player and remembering them for this particular season.
Yeah, I think he's there already. I think some of those runs last year, he kind of put himself there where he's a fan favorite already. Taking like the big stars away.
But with Trey also, it kind of came during the course of the year.
It took some time. He enters this year with real expectations. If he meets them or surpasses them, man, I think Florida State's had so many good running backs. It's hard. Like, I get it. He's sitting around going, what's he going to do? Surpass Dalvin Cook? I'm not talking about best. I'm talking about a guy that, like, my good friend, William Floyd is beloved by Florida State fans because he was nasty. He would run over people. He fired the group up. He was incredible. Like, there you go. Single season rushing record, 1,765 yards. I don't know. Benson probably won't get that because they have so many running backs. But damn, man, they could ride him to 22 carries a game. He might get that. Jimbo's
not Trey's coach either, so Dalvin's not or Trey's not going to run for that many yards. Like Jimbo ran that horse into the ground. That says something about Dalvin too. Dalvin's just such a genetic, athletic freak. That
he's a freak. Yeah,
he still looks the same even after all these carries, and he got used a lot in college. I'm trying to think of the other side of the ball. Like my initial answer, honestly, for somebody that has yet to fully ingratiate themselves with this fan base, but I think by the end of the year could. Man, I keep coming back to Toa Feely. I think he is going to make some enormous plays this season. He's not going to be the best player. He's not the best running back. He's not going to lead them in anything. But I think there might be 3 or 4 moments where he makes a play that could be forever remembered by Florida State fans.
It's a good choice, Corey, because he's one of the only guys that has game-breaking speed on the team.
Yeah.
That has played a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he won't get a lot of attention. He's not going to get the double teams and all that. So, you could definitely see him doing that. And I think we mentioned it last night on the Smash, Corey. I think like one of the cool things about Toafili that I think fans should embrace about him is he would be a perfect candidate to have taken off with the transfer portal.
Yep.
I mean, he's not going to be featured in this offense. He wasn't featured in the offense last year. He knows he's not going to be featured in the offense this year. But man, he's just always, and the players and coaches constantly praise him for being just a good teammate and somebody who's always trying to get better. And yeah, man, I think he's a good choice. Defensively, Shaheem Brown to me I've always just loved Shaheem. The first practices we saw of him 2 years ago, just the way he carries himself. I mean, we've talked about it before, just the way he talks trash, the scene over in Jacksonville that Corey shared last year. It's just, we've seen those examples in the past where he's an alpha, and he wants to be. And I think he's got the ability, man. And I do
too.
I think this getting a starting job and like being dependent upon, as an every down player, I think there's a chance he may be that kind of guy.
Well, and some of the shine oddly fell off of him because he played all through spring kind of dinged, beat up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can say it now because he's not missing any time. We don't think starting in the fall. We're not disclosing an injury or something that, Mike Norvell would be angry about. But he got nicked early in spring and was really kind of just getting through it, I think. And I don't think they wanted him to risk injury. Like, they need that dude in the fall, not the spring. And so I think my man will enter the fall very healthy. To your point, I think the ability is there. We just didn't see it really in the spring because I don't think he was fully healthy. So
in that personality that we've seen glimpses of in practice, I think we could see that on Saturdays.
Yes.
Which fans would love.
Well, and if the defensive line dominates the way that we think that it should, you're going to have teams that are going to be in second, third, and long a lot. And that is a chance for this group to do something they haven't really done at all, which is create turnovers and score touchdowns, man. Just take one back. Like, the best defenses that we watch every year score. They score. Yeah. They're scooping scores. They're sack fumble strips. They're interceptions. They're jumping routes because they've got people in predictable situations. Right. This is the first time Florida State is going to be able to dictate terms defensively to even good teams, I think, because of that defensive line, where they can take some chances, man, where they can jump around. You've got guys behind the chains. They really haven't been able to consistently get people behind the chains, not offenses with a pulse.
Also, I think they'll have they should have teams behind on the scoreboard because of the offense, which will put these defenses or put the other offenses in. I got to throw every down. I'm gonna force it into a tight window because we got to make up some time here, and that's when you get some turnovers too, and put Jordan Travis in a baseball hat.
Well, that creates, but also we know that creates a whole different level of competition. Then guys are competing with each other to score, to make plays. It's cool. The group gets elevated. One guy gets an interception in the secondary. There's somebody else, that it's energized to do the same because that competition, that inter-squad competition.
And if you can pull three starters from your offensive line when you get a lead and you're bringing in three dudes that have played a lot of college football, now that second team offense, when they go in there, they may go up and down the field as opposed to, just kind of buy some time and run a few plays here or there. They may actually, give Tate or Duffy or Brock Glenn an opportunity to actually lead some scoring drives late in games.
To make the point of how deep this offensive line is, I was a guest on a show and we were talking about how Florida State matches up against Clemson. And then I said, by the way, just to let you know where Florida State's offensive line situation is compared to where it was. When you do seasonal prep, when you start looking at the league, who's going to surprise, who's not, and you start reading about the different segment groups and you read the equivalent, although nobody could equal Warchant, in those different markets. When you start doing that, I realized as I started kind of taking a cursory glance at all the expectations around the league, I think Florida State could take the second five, whoever doesn't win the starting job along the offensive line at each position, tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle. And that might be the second or third best offensive line in the ACC somewhere else.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know about that necessarily.
I think it's close, Corey. Close. I think if you go and look, I think it's close.
Probably top half of the conference. I would think.
So I was going to do I want to get back to what Ira was saying before the break. I don't want people to listen to this and think that we're talking about the Cowboys of the 90s.
No.
This is an incredible offensive line full of first-round picks.
It's numbers, quality in numbers, but it's not elite level. Right.
It's almost unheard of at this level. An experiment real quick. Jeff, give me. So who's your starting five, your offensive line, if you were going to guess? You didn't have Jeremiah Byers on it, right? I didn't think you thought Byers.
He might have. I didn't.
Ira didn't. I had Byers on it. Ira didn't.
Okay, so let's go with yours then, Ira. You didn't have Byers on it, right?
No.
Who else did you not have? You didn't have. So Jeremiah Byers, he has 30 starts.
I know. So my whole thing is I just don't. Again, because of the LSU game, this is my theory, and I could be totally wrong. I just think because you have LSU in the opening game, I think Alex Atkins is going to want to go with guys he's seen in competition in games and what they do. And I think he's going to go with Robert Scott at left tackle. I think he's going to go with Bless Harris at right tackle. I think he's going to go with Maurice Smith at center, Dimitri Emmanuel at guard, and then probably either Roddick or somebody else at the other guard. But I don't think he's going to go out there with 3 new starters for a game against LSU when because I don't think the thing that's cool about the way they coach, Alex Atkins and that offensive line staff and that offensive staff overall, is it's not really about just manning up and beating your guy. Like they do so much stuff creatively, offensively, that it's more about execution, I think, than it is about just having the best 5 individual players out there. So I think early in the season, I think he's going to go with the experienced guys from FSU. We'll see. That's just my theory.
Yeah, no, and I wasn't judging it. Because none of us are sure who's going to start.
Right.
But if I just wanted to use yours as an example of these are my 5
Right.
starters. So you have 3 guys now, and I'm just counting these 3. And I wanted to look up one more real quick. But so you have Jeremiah Byers who won't play, just on yours.
Right.
Won't
start.
Won't start.
Yeah.
Keandre Jones who won't start, and then Darius Washington who won't start. And that right now I'm looking at it is 19, 24, 27. That's 80 starts on the bench. Byers has started 30 games in college. Washington has started 30 games in college, and Keandre Jones has started 22 games in college. And they're on the sideline.
Right.
And they're good players. They've proven to be solid to good players. Byers was the belle of the ball in the portal. That's
Corey,
where you are. Let's say Roddick replaces Dimitri Emmanuel.
Well, that's the big one. I was going to say, you want to have some fun with numbers, bench Dimitri Emmanuel and tell me
that's what I'm saying.
Numbers get to then.
Or bench Roddick. Roddick started 35. That's what I'm saying. All these guys, Keandre Jones isn't coming into August thinking he's a backup because he hasn't been a backup in 2 years. He started in the SEC. So that's what's so cool about it is it's not just you have guys that had 3 stars by their names coming out of high school or 4 stars. You have guys that have played a lot at a high level. Casey Roddick in the Pac-12 on a terrible team, but the Pac-12. Keandre Jones at Auburn. Everybody else at Florida State. Jeremiah Byers was, like I said, the number 1 or number 2 offensive lineman in the entire portal. All these guys on your team at your disposal. Plus, some young guys coming up that might really push for a job.
Like Armella is the only one of that group that is organic that they recruited that's young. That could.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think he's as close, maybe, but Jalen Early is incredibly talented.
I've got high hopes for Jalen Early. I just don't think he would crack. I think Armella has a better chance to crack that group right now. But we're not even mentioning the 6'8" prototypical left tackle who's got a huge base and long ass arms and could very well only be here for 2 more years.
And it's to me, it's the same situation at defensive tackle. I wouldn't tell anybody that Fabian Lovett, and whether it's Fabian Lovett and Darrell Jackson or Fabian Lovett and Braden Fisk or Fabian Lovett and Josh Farmer, I wouldn't tell anybody that that's the best starting defensive tackles in the country.
You're saying the drop-off isn't very big, though.
But, man, how many people are bringing those dudes off the bench 3, 4, and 5, and 6?
Well, that's the point about
–
that's the point about those best defenses. Like Georgia pissed you off if you played against them because all their starters were going to the league, quite literally. But then it wasn't like the guys that replaced them when they needed a breather were a bunch of bums. They were all guys that are likely going to the league.
And they lost Jermaine Johnson before the season and had the best defense of all time.
Yeah. So, it's insane. So that's where championship level teams get to. And that's why we look at this team now with a fine-tooth comb. And I keep reiterating, there are areas of this team that are championship level because of the quality of depth that we're illustrating now. And there are other areas where they're going to have to prove it or they have to get more dudes in here. They just haven't been good long enough to be able to bring in those recruiting classes. And so now I can see the shift already in the fan base. And it's good. It's what you want. You want to be hypercritical. And I don't mean critical as in negative. I mean as in we're watching closely here. How close is this program to being a national championship winning contender, right? Like how close are they? and they're not close enough on defense. And that's why most of us have expectations that they could win the league, maybe make the playoffs, much the way TCU did, but not really win a national championship. They're not there yet.
Corey, I asked Jeff this last night. I'm curious your opinion, buddy. So Norvell wins the toss, does the unthinkable, and wins the toss for the LSU game. What does he do?
He kicks.
No question about it.
No question.
That's
You may have the best one of the top 3 or 4 offenses.
Kick
in the
it
country.
away, baby.
No, he'll still have that offense to start the second half.
That's what I said too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And if your defense fails you and gives up a score on the opening drive, don't worry, you're going to score. You got the most lethal offense.
It's
in
a
the country.
shootout. It's going to be a shootout,
Let's
gang.
go. Let's get it on.
All right.
Ira wants the ball.
I'd just be tempted to put my best 11 out there as opposed to maybe not my best 11. But, I don't know, man.
I want LSU to hiccup first and let them know it's going to be a long day, boys. Long day. Headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with.
Discover the taste of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviche, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services has been Tallahassee's preferred residential electrician for over 30 years. Hi, this is Rowdy Lawson, and we've earned our reputation because we care about our customers, about quality, and about providing great service. We stand by every job we do and consider it a privilege to work on a family project like a new house, a custom addition, or a green renovation. For all your residential or service projects, call the good guys, Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services, 562-4111.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Conferences to call away.
222-7722. Heating and cooling is the job we do.
Parker Services. Conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits including priority service. Members jump to the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. Florida license number CMC 050334.
Parker Services. Conferences to call away. Parker Services. office just a call away.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Remember, if you don't have anything nice to say it really, really loud. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BearNoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hey folks, it's me, Mac and More, spokesperson for Tallahassee's favorite Apple and Mac product store, Mac and More. We all know what Mac is all about. It's your MacBooks, iMacs, Apple Watch, iPhones, iPads, we've all got them. But what's really cool is the and more. And there's a lot more at Mac and More. They can help set up your new gear, migrate and back up your data, teach you new tricks and how to use everything better. And if something costs too much to fix, they'll tell you the truth. There's a lot more at Mac and More. See for yourself at macandmoresystems.com. Or you can take it from me, Mr. Mac and More.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
If you've been considering getting a new hot tub or upgrading your existing hot tub, now's the absolute best time to do it. Hot Spring Spas has the jets on full blast, and the prices right now have never been hotter. You can find huge savings at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, and we mean huge. For a limited time, you can get up to $5,000 off in instant discounts and rebates, plus 60 months no interest financing for qualified buyers. You heard that right. $5,000 in discounts. And that's not all. When you buy a hot spring spa from Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, you'll get a free consultation to determine the best placement in your yard for installation, a free accessory of your choice, and install can be completed in just a matter of days. It's the most aggressive rebate program that's ever been available to buyers from Hot Spring Spas. So stop by Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road today to check out their 12,000 square foot showroom with over 50 hot tubs on site. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols and pies starts right now.
Hour number 2, headliner questions on Seminole Headlines, about to happen. But first, we have to doff the cap to the great Dr. Birch in Birch Orthodontics. Happy to say, no fault of theirs, that I have not had to see Dr. Birch in the better part of like 10 days. It's kind of a miracle for me.
It's
like
a good
I'm
run.
longing to see Dr. Birch.
I feel like we should all go over the Corey when you're back in town, buddy. I think we should go over for a preseason kind of a pep talk from Dr. Birch. I mean, I want to talk a little football with her, and
Can I call her Heather, or do I need to call her Dr. Birch?
Well, you
her
call
name is
anybody,
Heather, right?
It is.
I only know her as Dr. Birch. I don't want to. I thought her name was Heather, but yeah, because she's not one of those people that like, hey, I didn't go to med school for 7 years for you to call me Heather. Call me Dr. Birch. She's not one of those, right? Or do you call her? Do you call her Dr. Birch when you see her?
It depends on what kind of respect you show upon first meeting. Like,
Right.
if
what did I call John Thrasher?
Well, you still call him Mr. President, Mr. President Thrasher when you refer to him.
I call him President Thrasher. So yeah,
Yes.
I call her Dr. Birch. But man, that's just because inside of me, I'm still 12 years old. So
Right.
everybody's sir, everybody's Mr., everybody's Mrs., Doctor, President.
You've never
that's
once
just how it
called
is.
me Mister.
that would be odd.
It would. You're right.
Maybe I'll
He's
start.
he's older than you, Corey. It would be strange.
People I don't know. I'm still the 12-year-old kid who threw my Frisbee in their yard, and I'm asking if I can get it back. But no, man, Dr. Birch and her staff are incredible, great people, do tremendous work. BirchOrthodontics.com. My kids went there. Jeff's kids went there. Corey's future step kids have gone there.
That's right.
Jean's kids have gone there. Everybody's gone there. So your kids and family members should go there as well. And they just do tremendous work, free consultations, payment plans, and just the best in the business. BirchOrthodontics.com is the website. Call them now.
And tell Heather that Seminole Headlines sent you, and you get free braces for a year.
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
No.
I couldn't read the fine print on that memo.
Corey, I'm going to call her right now and say that.
Corey told me.
Just saunter in. Heather, Corey told me.
Seminole Headlines said.
No, just
As
Corey
you well
told me.
know, Heather, it's a Tuesday, and me and the boys got together to perform another stirring rendition of Seminole Headlines. And it occurred to me after Corey made note that the public, who's not me, gets a year off of braces if they just mention Seminole Headlines. So here I am, mentioning Seminole Headlines.
I'm a host.
Just kind of curious,
Yeah.
Let's get to these headliner questions. Here we go. Burke writes, do you think another year in the system for the defense will manifest itself this year in a more consistent and effective defense, or will fingers continue to go from our eyes to Fuller? Well, I think getting better players in here, Burke, will certainly help this defense, and it starts with that defensive line that we bring up every time we talk about this defense. It better. Look, man, it's a show and prove year for the defense. Adam Fuller has at his disposal, and you can, by virtue of that, look at the other coaches too on the staff that you might have two fingers to your eyes, two fingers back to them. What you have to have in order to be consistently good on defense, and that is a group that can win in the trenches. You have an elite defensive end that's going to go in the first round if he stays healthy. You have another guy on the other side that can be all ACC and may himself be a guy that can make the leap to the NFL after this year. And you have a ton of interior defensive linemen with size and strength and are all, for the most part, NFL bound, especially if Darrell Jackson gets his waiver. If you have that and you're not good on defense, we got a problem.
And you have a ton of experience in the secondary. You went out, got an all-ACC cornerback in Fentrell Cypress. You've got an 8th-year starter and Akeem Dent at safety. You got 2 5th, 6th-year guys at linebacker.
Yeah, you better be good.
So yeah, I mean, like I've defended Adam Fuller in the past because I don't feel like it was fair to judge necessarily schemes sometimes or execution when you don't have very good players. Well, now they've got very good players, and so yeah, it's got to happen. I mean, to your point, to me, it's not continuing the 2 fingers to your eyes, 2 fingers. To me, I would be beginning that because I felt, again, last year, I didn't feel like they played bad. And I think even with a lot of injuries, I thought they played pretty well. But this year, they should take definitely a big step.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's interesting. I said this on the wildly popular Jeff Cameron show on Monday. Hey, look, I like Adam Fuller. I think he knows football. Big time. Big time. I mean, you sit and talk with Adam Fuller, man, you come away really impressed. But it's not a like contest. I mean, they got to perform, and they're trying to win championships. I think they will perform. I think they'll be good this year, to Ira's point. But if they're not, and they don't close a great class over there on the other side with recruiting as well, people are going to be pissed. They're going to want somebody to get fired, period. That's just the way that's going to happen. Whether we think it's fair or not, that's the reality of it. And frankly, I think some of the criticism will absolutely be apt if they struggle. Again, we don't think they're going to struggle. So
I like that you keep putting on your glasses and taking them off. The next time you take off your glasses, can you do like a David Caruso CSI? Like, looks like that ball just went out of bounds, or whatever he would say to start one of those shows, and we play the Who.
Yeah, I never saw CSI, but I did watch. Was it Hill Street Blues that he was on? Was that the?
Way back when.
Yeah,
wow,
old school.
Was that NYPD Blue?
He was on NYPD Blue, but Hill Street Blues was a great show too.
I loved NYPD Blue. He was great on that show.
It was better.
That's the last thing he was great in.
It was better than Jimmy Smith's. Also, Rick Schroeder had a good run on NYPD.
He had a nice little run in there. That show was phenomenal.
It was great.
It was not quite as good as Homicide Life on the Street, which led to later on, obviously,
The Wire. But the NYPD was great. It would have been incredible because we didn't have TV shows back then.
Could we
today,
imagine if NYPD Blue had been on HBO
or Netflix? Grittiness? Are you kidding me? It'd have been awesome.
It was phenomenal. Yeah, great show. I'm glad we were able to reference things from the 80s together.
Who's the actor that played Sipowicz? What's his name? Does anybody know?
Dennis Franz.
Dennis Franz. There you go.
Yeah. Who's still alive, I think.
He also
let's not go down that road again.
He also played.
I was protecting hookers on that guy.
He was a baseball coach in a TV show that lived like 10 minutes. It was
it was terrible.
Bay City something.
Yeah,
and he was a pitching coach, and
he didn't look like a pitching coach.
Yeah. Well, he taught this one guy how to get some extra instead because you can't use illegal substances. He told him to use some the stuff behind your ear that would give him some lubrication on his finger for throwing his curveballs. So that's something for whatever reason, man. That is in my dying days. I'll remember that.
You'll remember that. Nice,
Corey,
Ira.
Corey, just
you don't remember Jesse Warren's great catch in Oklahoma City being there, but you remember Dennis Franz with a
not only
Vaseline
not remember it on its way to a national title.
Yes, yeah, they won it the next night.
So by the way, Corey, I'll do this just for you, but then I'm going to immediately have to put him back on. Looks like we've got another question here, boys.
Perfect.
Afternoon, gents, writes Walter. Looking forward to the Natty in Houston. Just a 10-hour drive down I-10. Any cool places to plan a massive Headliners tailgate? Let's get organized. So listen, I like this question because, time is of the essence here, boys. And I know it feels like it's way off in the distance here, but before you know it, camp will be underway, and we're going to be busier than hell. Let's start organizing the big Seminole Headlines preseason, let's all get together and get smashed sort of thing here.
I felt like this was asked for a postseason, though. Wasn't he talking about Houston?
I'm skipping Walter's question. He's a wonderful guy. I'm not worried about him. I'm talking about Wally the Gator Hater is a wonderful person, but let's get to this. Let's get to what are we doing, and are we inviting the people? Are we having two separate parties? Is there a knockdown, drag out? The three of us just go get loose. I got an Uber picking us up. Let's have a day.
So this is all before we go to Orange Blossom Trail. This is like the Tallahassee festivities. All right, man, I'm with you. Yeah, we need to make it happen. I'm all for it.
It's on Corey. I'm saying it's on Corey.
Right.
I'm all, you know me, buddy. I'm all for it. I got places. We got venues. We could give Stephanie and I, where we're going to have the wedding, we could give that a dry run and meet
I like
there
that.
and have a big party there, something like that.
Stephanie listens to the show. Stephanie, by the way, thank you for the shirt. I know you thought of it and Corey didn't. And I wore the shirt on the show this week already.
Nice.
And yeah, I love it. I'm happy to finally have received the shirt 6 or 7 years removed from when it was originally headed my way. And I'm just asking her with a special request, and she's listening. Let's organize something, Stephanie. Let's get on.
What do you think? Like this Saturday before the season starts, or sometime in the middle of August? You want to have a little get together?
Couple weeks out.
Okay, like middle of August. I'm down for it. The place that we've reserved, it's a good place. If they give us some free, if they give us some money,
Corey's
we'll
like,
do a little advertising for it on the show.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, any place that wants to give us some free things, there's a chance we might make it there.
Yeah.
Can you catch me up on us falling out of the top 10 in On3's recruiting rankings?
Yeah, I mean, they just haven't had a commitment in a while, and a lot of schools have had a big surge. This is the time of year now, like when it used to be, the recruiting calendar was so much different, but now with the signing period in December, tons of kids and tons of college coaches put pressure on kids to commit during the summer before their senior seasons. So, and most notably, obviously, Florida. That's the one that's got everybody upset. Florida I think they had 7 commitments to start this week after their embarrassment with a quarterback who flipped on them. It's been an incredible run for them. So, yeah, FSU fans are starting to get anxious as the Noles kind of start plummeting in those rankings. But FSU's in good shape with a lot of guys. I think they're going to get some commitments here pretty soon.
Also, once Florida goes 6-6, all of those commitments will decommit.
Very possible.
Yeah. But I will say that better happen. They don't need to be getting out recruited by Florida and several other schools that are not in the same position as Florida State currently. So we'll be watching carefully, but I'm not panicking yet.
Watch it with those glasses.
Let me tell you, I'm looking in on that recruiting, Corey. Yeah. I'm looking in on that recruiting. We got to do the right thing here. Is it just me, or is FSU having some trouble getting players to commit while on their visits? Writes Jason. They're getting them on campus, and recruits are saying nice things about Florida State when they leave. But it would be great to see some commitments to go along with those photo shoots.
Another recruiting question.
You get a sense of a theme.
Yeah, I feel like people are. There's a little panic going on about the recruiting. It's what's funny though is like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the narrative was completely different. It's just other schools have had this surge and Florida State hasn't had theirs yet. So it needs to happen pretty soon because if they go into this season, people are going to be frustrated because they want to see more. Should be the fruits of what they did last year, and people feel like they haven't seen it.
Haven't they had like 3 or 4 5-stars on campus in the last few days, right?
Yeah, and they will this week, and they'll have more this weekend. They've got a huge this weekend. So for people that don't know, this weekend coming up, I think they've got 15 or 16 official visitors coming in.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's a huge
We should have the Seminole Headlines party this weekend. That would slam dunk it. I mean, that would be the end of it. If they see how we party.
Yeah, they're like, well, how could I not be here?
With these old dudes?
The Headlines party up at recess.
That's right. There you go. We found our place.
Is that place is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Heck yeah, it is, man. That's why they're going to build a baseball stadium right in front of it.
Where do the kids go these days? Where do they hang out?
College Town's a big deal, man. The Strip's a big deal. Potts is still a big deal. But College Town's become a big deal.
Well, I get
they've got options. They got options now. It's not like the old days where everybody just had to go to the Strip or Pop.
I would have died if College Town existed when I was in school. I wouldn't have made it. I'd have died.
Dude, imagine living right there where you can just walk all that
people
stuff.
That live right there, you could just walk down there anytime. Yeah. That would not have worked for me.
I told Corey it was after a game last season, or no, it might have been after the spring game. I can't remember when it was, but I had parked because we did the pregame show at Hotel Indigo, so I parked there. And so after the game, I walked back to my car and I was driving out of College Town to go home. And man, besides all of the debauchery that was going on, like there's this, as I started going down that street, there's like a, college age girl walking by herself hammered. And I just thought to myself, as a father of college age daughters, I was like, man, somebody needs to help. Like, how did her friends let her just walk down the street by herself? And it's just like, yeah, man, like, but I guess there's so many apartments down there now. Like it is pretty insulated. Like they do have that option. Like Tennessee Street, I guess some people might have walked to apartments back then, but
not very often. Not very often.
But with College Town, there's so many apartments right there. So I guess they just stumble out of their apartment, go down and have fun, and then stumble back.
What road is that? Is that St. Augustine?
Yeah.
St. Augustine is right there, but I think it was the one over Madison, maybe.
Yeah, Madison.
I just love that we've gotten to a point where people walking across a highway just assume because they're walking, you'll stop. And you will, because you don't want to hit a pedestrian. But it's not a crosswalk. But when they start walking, those yellow lights flash, right?
Right.
And they don't wait to see if you stopped.
No,
they are in the midst of a conversation with me going 45 miles an hour, not even thinking to look one way or the other. It's crazy.
By law, you're supposed to stop. But yeah, I would.
But it's also not a crosswalk, and they are sometimes like leaping in front of you because hey, I can walk here. I got my little yellow sign. They'll stop, and it's like, well, I get it. You're supposed to stop. But you still want to make sure that they've stopped.
Yeah, if you're the
traffic school here, if it's a place where the light starts flashing, that is a crosswalk. Like that's
sure, but it's not like a traditional crosswalk that people my age have grown up with.
I think both points are being well made here, guys. First of all, to anybody walking across the street, whether it's flashing neon red or not, make sure the car is stopping. There are plenty of people who text and drive.
Yep.
And that's your ass. And you don't have a
on
chance
the windshield.
To go, you're dead.
Didn't you see the flashing light? Yeah.
Yeah. More headliner questions forthcoming. I saved us from going into the abyss with these two going back and forth about Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hey, this is your stomach speaking. It's time to eat again. We met deadlines and closed out the workday like a boss. The last thing you want to do is cook dinner. Even worse, pick up any fast food garbage. We need something good, something local. We need foodiestakeout.com. An all-star lineup of local spots like Smitty's Tap House, El Jalisco, Terry's Cafe, Hangar 38, Metro Deli, and more. It's so easy. Just choose pickup or delivery, and let's eat the good stuff. I'm growling already. Visit foodiestakeout.com.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
For about 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend. And we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers, and that's not all, Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270-146.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
MLB is in full swing, and MyBookie is going to be your one-stop shop for all your betting needs. With a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, and futures, MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. You can also take advantage of the brand new MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you a chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely boosted odds. Sign up today at MyBookie. Use the promo code WARCHANT to secure a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200 and play with $300 instantly. Just use promo code WARCHANT to claim your bonus. So if you're a baseball fan looking to add even more excitement to the season, look no further than MyBookie. Sign up now. Get ready to experience the thrill of baseball betting like never before. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Who was a two-sport star at FSU that didn't play their second sport? They held their second sport in high school, but didn't pursue it at the college level.
There's a lot.
Most of the elite players, let's say at the skill positions during the dynasty years, were elite players in multiple sports.
You know, the one that, you know, in the more recent time, Jalen Ramsey was crazy. He didn't even do track really for FSU, but he just went out and finished. What did he finish in the Nationals in the long jump?
Fifth or sixth, something like that. Yeah.
He just like rolled out the track at the end of football season. They're like, hey, you want to do this? And he finished like fifth or sixth in the country. And I remember talking to some of the track coaches, and they were like, oh, yeah, he could be an Olympian if he wanted to focus on doing the long jump. But, you know, obviously he was doing okay with football.
There's more money in football, I guess, than long jumping.
But yeah, no, there's a ton, man. Like I'm trying to think of some. I mean, Jacoby McDaniel's a good one. I think, you know, he was drafted in baseball coming out of high school, was a really good player, but, you know, focused on defensive line at Florida State.
I think most people would be surprised, or maybe not, but I don't know if you're young, maybe you don't realize this, but yeah, if you're an elite athlete, if you're an elite player and you're a 5-star recruit and you go to Florida State and you play wide receiver, quarterback, running back, defensive back, you probably started in just about everything that you played in high school, no matter what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, track and baseball and basketball and hell, whatever you wanted to do, because that level of fast twitch, that level of athleticism translates across the board in high school. Now, again, what you might go on to become in college is different, but you know, listen, there are a lot of guys we know that you hear coaches say, oh yeah, he could have been a starter at the college level in basketball. He could have been, you know, he could have been an all-world track guy. Yeah, there's probably like 9 guys on the roster currently, right?
Yeah, there's more specialization now than there used to be. Back in the day, like when we were kids, like, you know, those guys played every sport. Now it's a little bit more specialized, but yeah, there's still plenty of
I know a couple of these football commits are big-time baseball players too.
Right.
And I was going to say Joe Mauer. Does he count? He didn't play either at Florida State.
He didn't play either.
Like
he just took it to the league.
And off the radar just a little bit, I'm going to go – I'll say Luke Laux. He was a pretty high-level quarterback in high school and had offers to go play quarterback at other places and chose basketball.
Well, for that matter, there's a certain punter that we're both friends with. We're all friends with, who was also a quarterback prospect.
Yes. Yeah, but he stuck with the same sport at least.
He did, but sport. I mean, he could. Yeah, you're right. But he played everything. I know that. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot of guys like that. R.A. writes, gentlemen, thank you for being both the voice of the fans and a source of information. My summer list question is: list FSU's top 5 non-Heisman quarterbacks. So you're going to have to say Danny Cannell. You're going to have – what'd you say, Corey?
Christian Ponder.
Christian Ponder was great.
Cannell,
Danny
Casey.
McManus. Danny McManus is on that list.
Casey Weldon.
Peter Tom Willis.
Yeah, PT was just a year, though.
I know.
He was awesome in that year, but he was just a year. And Casey was a year and a half. So, but Casey finished second in the Heisman. Yeah. And,
they've had some guys now. I mean, that's I think we named him though. I think
Jordan Travis is on the list, or will be.
Yeah.
By the time his career's over, if he's not there already, I would put Jordan Travis on that list for sure. I think we named all the right ones.
Yeah, I think we did as well.
There's nobody that people are screaming at home that we haven't thought of, right?
The combination of Jimmy Jordan and Wally Woodham.
No.
So that's why I didn't say Jimmy Jordan. I love Jimmy Jordan. I love that guy. I love who he was. I love him as a player. But you're right. The combination.
You can't separate them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Art wants to know, and by the way, I love that your name is Art. Because of COVID and NIL retention, here you go, guys. Is this the most experienced and oldest Florida State team ever?
It could be
right? The most experienced college football team ever. I mean, again, I was doing another. Who was it? Oh, Akeem Dent. I mean, Akeem Dent's he started 30-something games in his career. And I don't want to be rude to the kid, but he's kind of an afterthought when you start talking about all the experienced players on this team. And he started 30-something games. It has to be. It absolutely has to be the oldest, most experienced Florida State football team of all time, right? I don't even think there could be I don't even think there's a close second if you added up all the starts.
By the way, so Art goes on to say in the second part of it, his observation, I have 30 in the 2 deep that are in their 4th year or more, and 40 that are in at least their 3rd year. Together with elite quarterback and defensive front, that's a recipe for beating a more talented roster that you might face.
Yeah. That's the hope, right? I mean, like that is the hope. Like that, to me, this Florida State football team, there's some star power, but to me, it feels more like if you're going to win a championship, it's going to be more one of those like senior-laden basketball teams.
Some of your parts type thing.
That goes into March Madness and can beat a bunch of one-and-dones from Duke or wherever. Because, I mean, I think, look, man, the reality is LSU is probably going to have a better top-line talent. Clemson may have better top-line talent, not across the board, but in certain positions. If you get into the playoff, you start talking about Georgia and some of those teams, they're going to have better top-line talent. But because you have all of that depth and experience, you'd like to think, and a special quarterback, that maybe that puts you over the edge.
I think
good depth and experience.
Yeah.
Not elite,
not
maybe,
just,
but good. They're not just dudes. They're good college football players, a lot of them.
I think when we start talking about the recipe for a championship, you start with the regular season campaign, the talent and the depth that we've alluded to several times should carry the day. Got to go 11-1 to find yourself, on the verge of making the college football playoff. You'll get a rematch probably with Clemson. So if you want to make the playoff, you got to win that. So that's all doable. That's all possible. Wouldn't shock any of us if that happened. Imagine that. Now we're talking about a 12-1 team going into the college football playoff. To beat an Ohio State or a Georgia, I know they've got new quarterbacks. Seems like they just reload anyhow, or an Alabama or whatever. I think you're going to have to win a game. If you want the impossible dream to come true and that Florida State wins the whole damn thing this year, which, again, I'm not predicting, they're going to have to beat one of those teams 55-52. They're going to have to get into a score fest, and Jordan Travis is just better than anybody you've got.
Yeah, in TCU won a game like that in the playoff last year against Michigan, and quite frankly, Georgia kind of did that against Ohio State. Ohio State was moving up and down the field against them all game. Yeah.
The one really nice thing that I think should give FSU fans comfort is because you have that depth and experience. There, at most positions, 1 or 2 injuries wouldn't derail things, and there are a lot of teams, like you said, Corey, before that 2013 FSU team. If they had an injury or 2 on the offensive line, that season's done.
You're rolling Hofield in there.
I mean, they have nobody. Yeah. This team, there's a lot of positions where you could sustain a little bit of attrition during the season and not be knocked too far back. So that's a great thing going into a season.
Kevin writes, because he wrote it last week and I don't think I got to it, so we'll do it again. Here you go, Kevin. What happens first? Miami scores a touchdown in the conference title game, or the ACC as we know it dissolves?
That's a good question.
I'm going to go with the ACC dissolve. Well, I don't know, dissolves.
Is Florida State out of the conference by the time Miami scores a touchdown in a conference championship game?
Yes, because they're not going this year. They're not going next year. Miami's in trouble, guys.
Yeah.
It pains you to say that.
Just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Well, they gave him a 10-year contract, right? I mean, so that thing, and it doesn't sound like it's going well. And
Buddy, my favorite part about that is they were all, and they've been certain before, but they were all so certain that once they got one of theirs, their guy, once he gets there, you guys look out. He can recruit. He's one of us. He's got the right mentality. He understands our community.
All right. Hey, it's just 1 year.
Sorry, going nowhere.
Okay, it's just a year. Can I ask, and I'm not trying to do too much behind the scenes, why do you keep taking your glasses off and putting them back on?
Because I can't read the questions without the glasses, but I see well enough to talk to you guys and look around the room and all that without them.
Ira, back me up. Is it a distraction that he keeps taking his glasses off? Would you rather just keep them on the whole time?
It is to you. You're easily distracted.
Somehow, Corey, I'm persevering.
You are. You're tougher than I am.
Yeah.
It was funny yesterday. There was a play that was hit to Brady in left field, and he was practicing his swing as the ball was hit, and that's why he missed it. And anyway, I'm talking to his coach afterwards, and he goes, does Brady have some sort of like ADHD? And I'm like, Billy, you've met Brady, right? Like, it's undiagnosed. He's not on medicine, but yeah, dude, of course. And he just started laughing. So he gets it, honestly. Brady does, because I got a little bit of that myself.
So here's on that note, on Father's Day, I don't know why, at some point during the day, Alexa decided it would be great. So we were just going to sit. We were doing something. We were doing an activity. I can't remember what we were doing. But Alexa said, I'm going to put something on TV. So she put on headlines from YouTube. She pulled up last week's headlines. We've never in my life, never in our lives have they ever done that before. But here she goes. She puts it on our 75-inch, not our 85-inch TV.
Like 75, slumming.
And puts it on the TV. She's got Seminole Headlines in. And I'm like, what are you doing? I kept trying to turn it. She leaves it on. As we're sitting there, my youngest looks at it and goes, how come like you and Jeff are like staring right at the camera, but Corey's never looking really at the camera? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of Corey.
That's what I do. I'm fidgety. I look around. I rub my arms. I'm a weird guy, everyone.
Somehow, but you've looked at the camera enough to see that Jeff is.
Well, he's hyper-focusing on my glass removal.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, he just can't help himself. I'm going to start tossing them in the air while I talk.
Please, yeah.
And
I'll just look up in the air in my room.
Yeah.
If they show up here.
I'm tricking a cat. Over and over. Hey, by the way, so I'm going to do this for you, Corey. We'll see if we can get through it. I'm going to try to ask this question without putting my glasses back on to save you the aggravation before break.
Well, I like talking to you with glasses on. I just want you to keep them on after you've read the question.
Well, I can't do it. All right, here you go. Tony writes, I don't want to rush to compare our 2024 recruiting outlook against the rivals one productive weekend. Obviously, he's referring to Florida. But shouldn't we be hearing some positive recruiting news right about now? We just had OVs, but it seems like momentum has completely stalled since Landon's commitment.
Yeah, Landon Thomas, 5-star tight end. That's what I was saying. Like a few weeks ago, people were on top of the world about FSU recruiting. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, again, they've got 15 visitors coming this weekend. They've got another big weekend, the 23rd. I guess this weekend is the big visit weekend. And, I think you'll see some commitments. I think Charles Lester, the 5-star cornerback, FSU feels really good about, is he's going to be announcing his decision in the next few weeks. So, again, just a little patience. I know it's been a rough couple days for FSU fans on the recruiting front.
To the coaching staff listening to the great Seminole Headlines, the people have spoken.
Yeah, they're tired of this. Get somebody to commit.
Let's get to. Stop BSing and let's get some yeses. I'm in. Let's get some verbals. No more just hanging out in Tallahassee enjoying yourself. We got to have some yeses before you get in that car to move it on down the road.
It's June. We got to have something to talk about. It's June.
Yeah, let's go, man. We're almost out of June, Corey. It's almost July, buddy. Football season's upon us.
It's 75 days away.
It is 66 days away from the start of college football, and camp will be here before you know it, pal. We're basically starting camp next week.
We're here. It's happening.
It's that quick.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues. My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand.
Not a recruiting question. Here you go.
Sweet.
Let's go.
Gentlemen, thank you for helping us get through summer as football gets closer. If you could build a 14-team conference, what teams would you pick to join with FSU? Any 14. So 14, FSU's one. So 13 teams, gentlemen. Who do you want in the conference?
Any teams? Like we're not caring about geography?
We don't. Well, I mean, he
Yes.
didn't say.
Yeah, we do. Who said that? We do care about geography.
All right.
No, but he's any team. So listen,
Yeah.
I think we got to define our terms here. Is this a conference that we're trying to make viable for a television network so that we can make a ton of money? Is this a conference that we're trying to put together that is in the footprint of a hotbed of college football, meaning the South? Is this a dream scenario where we pick 13 teams we just really like?
I think where Corey's leaning is geographically makes sense. The best 13 other teams would put Florida State.
We have
obviously
to be, with the three of us are the commissioners of this conference. Okay,
we're bringing Florida and Miami, right?
No,
we're not bringing Florida and Miami.
We'll bring Miami. I would bring Florida. We don't need Miami.
All right.
I concur with Corey. Miami doesn't bring anything to the table.
Nope.
I would like to see that rivalry continue, but alas, things change.
You know what? Army-Navy was a great rivalry, and I guess it still is the pageantry, but they used to play for championships.
You don't want to go that route. Pick some other rivalry, my friend.
I don't know why Army-Navy came to mind. How about
Florida,
Harvard,
Georgia?
Yale?
You're bringing Florida? You're bringing Georgia?
Yes.
Are you bringing Clemson?
Yes.
Yes.
Alabama and Auburn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we want both of them?
Yep. LSU.
I also want LSU. I also want Texas and Oklahoma.
LSU, Texas, and Oklahoma. You good with Texas and Oklahoma, Corey?
Yep, I'm good with those. Yep.
What about Tennessee? Do we want the Vols?
No.
No, we
don't think we need them.
No, we don't. We don't need Tennessee. Great fan base. Don't care about them.
And then let's finish it up with
I would say 5 more spots. We got 5 more spots.
Pitt, Boston College, Syracuse.
Hell no. Hell no.
Okay, 5 more
spots.
spots.
Sorry, Swafford. Yeah, 5 more.
5 more spots. We'll have another division. Michigan, Ohio State.
Penn State.
Penn State. Now we need 2 more, boys.
We don't want that Northeast corridor where you get Boston. You get that Boston TV market. You get that Pittsburgh the New York TV market that loves college football so much. I would say
Michigan State.
No, get them out of here.
Iowa.
No.
Nebraska.
Notre Dame.
Ooh.
Notre Dame.
How about Notre Dame and Nebraska? Nebraska's earned it. And I don't need USC. They can stay on the West Coast.
Yeah, no, we're not going West Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, Notre Dame and Nebraska, either Nebraska or Iowa, either one.
We don't want Iowa.
I don't want anywhere near Iowa.
Better fans, better stadium, better program.
Yep. Who would know? Who?
Iowa
Nebraska?
has been for 15 years.
But over
the last 15 years, Iowa is a much better program than Nebraska.
But nobody cares about it, really. I mean,
Nobody
they're
cares
just
about
they're
Nebraska.
biding time until wrestling starts. We don't need that in our
cares
conference.
about Nebraska.
Iowa's still
Everybody cares about Nebraska.
No. They don't.
You guys, I'll raise you an eyeglass.
You're ridiculous.
We are having our glasses off right here. This is like a woo off. This is a Ric Flair woo off. I think Notre Dame and one other team. We're going to debate this.
But that's an incredible conference. We don't need anything else. We're rivaling the NFL with that conference.
Yeah, we left the West Coast completely out of it. If we didn't, I would have taken USC, Oregon, Washington, and maybe Utah.
But they're not. We don't need them.
If they want to switch to our time zone, we'll consider it.
Smart. Yep.
Yeah, that's
about
what I
us.
look at.
Fair enough. In what if season, aka the off season, what if Johnny is what Johnny was and Coleman becomes the number one?
Oh, I mean, what? That would be crazy.
So he's saying that Coleman is better. Yeah, I mean, look, man, there's a chance.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, you've got probably the best 1-2 receiver. Yeah, you got 2 1s.
I'm thinking of awesome. I mean, I guess you were saying Johnny for the whole season. I'm thinking of Johnny in the Oklahoma game. Or late in the Florida game. I mean, it's like I'm expecting him to be that guy now. Maybe that's not fair. Maybe nobody else is. But if he's that guy and Keon Coleman's better than that, I mean, good grief.
He might be. It's going to be cool. I mean, Keon Coleman can ball now. This is going to be fun. It's a really cool debate and problem to have. It reminds me of what we're doing with the offensive line. Like, well, I like this guy at guard or center. Well, great. I like this guy at guard or center. It's good to have options, but the fact that you can line those guys up on opposite ends, and then you have the tight ends that Florida State has, and then a guy like All-Day Dre or somebody else in the slot. Holy moly! Yeah,
man, it's Jordan Travis he should be smiling every day he wakes up.
I agree with that. FSU has hosted approximately 632,000 recruits over the last 2 weeks. Here we go, guys.
Come on, man. Langston has a live show, everyone. Langston has a live show. You can ask him all these questions. I promise.
It's just fresh because it was on Monday when we put out the prompt for the show. Was when Florida's getting their 6th and 7th commitments in 24 hours.
So it'll even out. It's recruiting. It'll even out. I get it, but I get it. You're getting antsy.
It may or may not even out. We're watching closely. It needs to start evening out.
Right.
I'm moving on from Twitter because the next 4 questions are about why they can't recruit.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Shane,
come on, Twitter.
How concerned should we be about the defense? They weren't good against offenses with a pulse last year. And he goes on to say, loves the show, been listening for a decade plus, very grateful for everything we do. Are we worried about the defense? I think we're just going to reiterate something we've said.
I'm at the point now with this debate about the defense as I was last year this time, the conversation about Jordan Travis. I mean, this isn't the same defense as it was a year ago. They had personnel issues. Wasn't just scheme or execution. They had a banged up defensive line. You never had Fabian Lovett. You had Fabian Lovett for one game. I mean, he played some other games, but he wasn't the same Fabian Lovett.
And he did not play the Oklahoma game.
Yeah, and then you had Robert Cooper, his arm was in a sling for half the year, didn't practice. The linebackers didn't practice half the year. That's why it's just hard to.
Yeah, but here's the easy thing. I think that's a very valid point, and I agree with that point. I also think it's fair to say you better perform this year.
Right.
So there we are. That's where we're at. Let's see if they do. If they don't, we'll start talking about it. Dustin, who met you, Ira.
Yes. In Kansas.
He followed up. Jeff, you asked for it, so here it is. Probably a Seymour. Born and raised in the small town of Caney, Kansas. 20 minutes southwest of Independence Community College and 20 minutes west of Coffeyville Community College. When I was 5, my uncle, who was with me and met Ira in OKC, was a grad assistant wide receiver coach at FSU from 90 to 92. We watched him, and we wanted to watch him, and I've been a diehard Nole ever since. Being in Kansas, I'm also a Jayhawk, but only during basketball season. Ira, Sorry to hear you experienced what OU fans can be like. They're absolutely the worst. Oh, Dustin.
Well, that's cool to hear a story because we only talked briefly. I didn't get the whole backstory of how they became FSU fans out in Kansas. But that's cool, man. That's, again, man, like one of the neatest things about doing this job is that you see how many FSU fans there are around the country who never went to FSU, don't have family that went to FSU, but just love Florida State. And it's cool when they actually get to go to an FSU event.
It's awesome. Again, it's true. If you're over the age of 35, you feel a certain way about FSU because they mattered in your lifetime in a significant way. And as we've noted before on the show, right when college football was taking off, right when the televised product was becoming what we know today. Yeah,
I know we don't like them anymore, or talk about them a lot, but Dion was huge, just for the blossoming. What Florida State became, the iconic brand.
Sure,
a lot of it had to do with number 2, starting out right at that dynasty.
Marlon writes, "Happy Father's Day, Ira, Corey, Jeff, and Jeff's dad."
Who is this?
That's Marlon. That's our guy,
Yeah,
Marlon.
see, you should have gone to Facebook way before. We're not getting recruiting questions.
Quickly, what's going on with elite defensive end pass rushers and recruiting?
Come on.
Marlon,
I knew you were going to say something, and I couldn't wait to read the second part of the question.
My glasses off.
Jimmy writes, "Happy Father's Day." Michael says, "I'm on vacation, so I'm curious, where is your favorite beach destination? Doesn't matter if it's in Florida or not. By the way, I ain't going to lie, all the Warchant audio content have really come in handy these long, boring drives." Well, thanks, Michael.
We're there for you.
I've mentioned before, I like the Palm Coast, Cinnamon Beach area, anywhere near St. Augustine, Jacksonville Beach, all those areas I like quite a bit.
You still have
What's
some
the
hookup
one in
at Cinnamon
what's the
Beach?
one in LA where they all work out? Is that Venice?
Venice Beach?
That's my favorite now.
That's your favorite place. Corey, if you were to walk out there on the famed Muscle Beach, they would laugh at you.
Imagine this 160 pounds, ghost white. They'd be like, what is this guy doing? Is this his last day on earth?
Those guys are 260 of pure muscle.
Hey, man, you need help? You need a spot?
I saw something recently where Schwarzenegger, I think he says he still works out there or something crazy. But yeah, man, I'm still partial to Miami beaches because that's where I grew up. Although they're not anywhere near as good as a lot of the
they're
other
overrun
beaches.
now too. Yeah, it's like all the places we grew up, Ira. There are too many condos, too many people. There's nothing.
What was the beach, Ira, that you came over? Rosa Maria or something like that?
Yeah,
Where is that?
yeah.
Is that a beach? You came over and hung out a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think it's Santa Rosa. Is that what it is?
Santa Rosa, maybe. I love that. It's where we saw. Well, you weren't there, but that night the naked dude strolled by us, and I had to call 911. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
the audio's out there somewhere. Everyone.
We go to Kevin, the kids and I. We go to St. George a good bit. We go to the state park side, and we like that.
Josh writes, "Does it even matter if the defense is good for 90% of FSU's games this year?" No, it does not, Josh.
Correct. It needs to. And what is good? Top 20? Because I think it'll be a top 20 defense. It might not make everybody happy because it was basically a top 20 defense last year.
Last thing about recruiting here, guys.
Oh.
So here's what I was just going to say.
Hey, Corey.
Florida.
Throw them down.
So if Florida hadn't had this run over the last 24, 36 hours, like there would be no freaking out. So they had that run, and that's cool for them. But again, as Jeff said earlier, they're going to lose a lot of football games this year. Their over-under total is 5.5.
Yeah.
Those kids are not all going to stick.
By the way, I'm taking Florida on the over to win 6, though. I like them.
Are you really?
Yeah.
All right. Not a lot over, though.
Not a lot over, but I think they'll win 6 minimum.
You fired
so
up.
So their
about
over-under is
Graham
5.5?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't think I knew that. Wow.
Tough times.
And then their schedule next year, 2024, is nuts.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Sean says, just wanted your thoughts on the new pitching coach. I love that hire.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Capozzi's everybody I talk to likes him a lot. Yeah, everybody seems to like him a lot. I've known him, talked to him a few times through the years. His dad, Mike Capozzi, was the coach at longtime coach. He's a longtime coach at NFC.
His brother's Buster.
I don't think that's the same Posey family.
No, not the same Posey.
Oh, my bad.
But no, I mean, he's done really well, and he's done well. He's at 3 colleges now. He's at Dallas Baptist right now. He was the assistant coach of the year in Conference USA.
It would explain, by the way, to some degree. It would explain to some degree that how it's even possible that you're routinely flipping around looking at scores. And you're like, why is Dallas Baptist ranked 7th in the country every year? It's crazy. So there you go.
They've had it rolling.
So Florida State's lost 2 assistants, right? Well, everybody wanted to get a part of this great Florida State team. I mean, the shine from Notre Dame is so unbelievable that you could go through the worst season in school history at Florida State and still get a head coaching job somewhere.
Robert writes, have you guys been watching the College World Series? It is amazing how bad our pitching staff was compared to LSU, Wake Forest, et cetera. Yes. Yeah.
It's crazy just how hard everybody throws. Tennessee's got a dude out there throwing 101. I mean, what are we doing? Hey, by the way, a little baseball coaching Clark story real quick. Brady finally had a good tournament this past weekend. Nice. I sent him to as soon as I bring it up, Ira looks down. I get it.
I'm listening.
I went to the cage yesterday after his tournament. The game they lost was 8 a.m. on Monday morning, which across the state, which was unbelievable. Anyway, I put him to the pitch. I got a pitching machine. I've never done this before. It was from 40 feet away, and I wasn't doing the math in my head, but it was 60 miles an hour. And they're coming pretty fast, and he's making contact. He's not crushing the ball all the time, but he's making contact. And then I was like, I wonder how fast this equates to. And it was 90 miles an hour. Because 60 miles an hour from 40 feet is the same reaction time as 90 miles an hour from 60 feet. So I was like, man, this must be what all these kids that we watch on TV in Omaha, they must be start doing this when they're 12. Because how else does the guy that throws 101 not strike everybody out?
Oh, yeah. No. So,
you know what I mean? How are they even making contact with it?
Yeah. If it's straight, they can make contact with it at 104. It's insane. It is. It's quick. We have some that I want to carry over to next week, boys, that I didn't get to on Facebook. A couple of funny observations, nothing crazy, but that's it, man. We're done.
We did it again.
We've flown through this thing again.
Corey, I wasn't trying to ignore the topic about Brady. It was I wanted to double check the win total for Florida. That is 5.5. Because I didn't want to put out bad information. It is.
Oh, I know you don't want to do that. We don't do that here.
It is indeed 5.5.
That's crazy, man. Next year it's going to be 3.
And again, for everybody out there, I'm taking the over on that. You guys get your bets in.
Also, happy birthday to Brady Clark. He turns 15 today.
Happy birthday, Brady. Happy birthday, buddy.
We should sing to him.
We don't have time. No. Good job, Ira. Good job, Corey. Thanks to Tom. Be good, everybody. Until next time. Peace.